Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Mind of Loughridge. I hope you have found your day. Hope your day is going well. And so I want to have a conversation this evening. And I've been thinking about it all day. Let me throw this out at you as you all are coming in. Say hello as you are coming in. Um, this is Mike. We're going to do a Can We Talk conversation tonight. And I'm going to talk about some things. And I think as I get into some conversations with you tonight, hopefully what I share, even from the perspective that I'm going to make an attempt to have a conversation tonight. All right. And so I believe it's going to be a wholesome conversation. And most of you, if you've been following me for quite some time, you know when I do my Can We Talk, it is not a secret that I am unapologetically Christian, that I'm unapologetically dedicated to the scripture, that I'm unapologetically straightforward and all of that. And so, so when I do my Can We Talks most time, not that, not that I am, oh, no, not rest in peace, not rest in peace, um, not rest in peace, Tay. No. Unless something happened, I didn't know. But no, not rest in peace. Um, so I want to have a conversation. I want to talk about something. And, I normally put my little background, Can We Talk? And that's how people know I'm going to do Can We Talk? But I just want to have a conversation. And I want to have, no. All right. No. No, you're good. No, that's not PNB Rock. No, that's not him. Um, no, this is NLE Choppa. All right. So I want to get into a conversation, and I want to talk about something. And hello, everyone. So like and share, like and share. I know it's been a minute since I've been here. So when I do my Can We Talk conversation, I want to, I'm Christian, love the Lord. Most likely, some scriptures may come out of my mouth. Um, you know what I'm saying? And then it may not. But Can We Talk? I just want to deal with some real issues, and I'll go from there. Thank you for everyone that is a believer in Christ Jesus who has been lifting up my father in prayer. Continue to keep him in your prayers. Continue to keep him prayed up. I know that the Father honors those who pray in the name of the Lord Jesus. And so I want you to keep my father in prayer. He did come home today, probably about an hour or so ago. And so just keep him in your prayers, new steps, new directions for my family, specifically my brother and my mom. Okay. All right. So let's get into this discussion about NLE Choppa. Now, recently I stumbled, and I'm not going to play it. If you want to see it, you can actually, and let me say this, I'm a realist to the best of my ability. My dad being home has a plus, but it also personally has a negative connotation. Those are very personal to me. You can ask me about that later. So anyway, so let me continue. So this particular gentleman, everybody, 19 years old. Is he 19 still now? I think he's 19 now. And will be 20 this year, on November 1st. He's a Novemberian, as I call it. Very recently, he broke up with a girl he was with, a young lady he was with, by the name of Marissa. And, NLE Choppa, No Love Entertainment, Choppa. That's what it is. That's what those letters stand for, No Love Entertainment. Now, this gentleman, he was not born this, and I'm not about to go into the history of him, but it was very interesting to find out that his real name is Bryson LaShawn Potts. Bryson LaShawn Potts. I have a Bryson in my family. I have a cousin whose name is Bryson. But anyway, let me get into the conversation. So he ended up breaking up with his girlfriend named Marissa. This is where I want to bring this up. And this is why tonight I'm entitling this conversation lesson. I'm entitling this tonight lessons. Okay. Yeah. Lessons from NLE Choppa. This is where I want to talk about tonight. And so I want to deal with some lessons. Now, say what you want to, but this gentleman, this particular gentleman, I want you to catch this. This particular gentleman was in a relationship with a young lady named Marissa. They're no longer together. They're no longer in relationship. Okay. They're no longer together. They're no longer in relationship. He broke it off. Here's the reason why he broke it off. One of the things he said, and you can watch this on YouTube, where it's entitled Cleaning the Air. He broke up with his girlfriend, and because here it is, he told her from the jump, if I'm a polygamist, I'm going to have sex with more than one woman. You would not be the only woman. If I marry you, you would not be the only woman or the only wife, because I'm a polygamist. He says, I believe in polygamy. Okay. He says, I believe in polygamy. I'm not going to be faithful to you just as one person. I don't believe in that. I'm going to have sex with who I want to have sex with, and it just will not be you. If you want to be in a relationship with me, this is what you're going to gain out of this relationship. And so when he shared this information, he didn't cut no corners. He did not have her go into a relationship thinking that who he was going to be the opposite situation. Okay. And there's this video of Marissa where she's crying and she's brokenhearted. Yes, Lady Tay knows best. And she was crying on social media over the boy. Yes. And so she wept and cried. This is why I'm calling this Lessons from NLE Choppa, because he told her from the beginning at 19 years old, I want to have sex with other women. I want I'm not going to be faithful to you. I'm not. I'm a polygamist. This is who I am. I'm going to be open in my relationship. And when he realized that it was going in a way, I want you to hear what he said, that it was getting ready to go into a way, listen to this, that was toxic. Now, I know y'all in this generation now where you all talk about living your truth, right? And so in this generation and time that you live in, you talk about living your truth. I said something a while back to some students. And in this generation, we have individuals who, number one, they talk about, at least I was honest. I realize in this time that we live in that there are people who interpret honesty as not hiding something from you, but I found, or being open or confessing. But I also realized that you can be honest, here it is, and not truthful. Now, what do you mean by that? Because I think a lot of times we fail to realize that just because I'm being honest does not always indicate truth. Because I believe that truth, from how it is handled in our society today, that truth actually is your identification card. Truth is the thing that deals with your character. And so when I look at NLE Choppa and I think about what he said and the video, I mean, if you have not seen the video, you got to go watch it because it's very powerful. He said something that was very interesting. He says, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, that you don't try, here it is, to catch a falling knife. Okay. And he connected that to when people are sitting up in here trying to display love to a person, here it is, that's not ready for it or has not already healed from a previous relationship. You don't need to get involved in the relationship. Here's the lesson that we can learn from him. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at his decision. I'm not mad at this. If there were people who would be just as honest and straightforward in regards to their relationship with people and the expectation that's coming into it, we won't have a lot of misunderstanding. I want you to catch this. And so this is why I talk to you all the time, because a lot of times, a lot of people think that your relationship is based upon what's dangling between your legs. You understand what I'm saying? A relationship is more about penis exciting the vagina and the vagina stimulating the penis, and that they're caught up in all these things, right? But then when it comes to, here it is, the heart of the matter. All right. When it comes to the heart of the matter, you have to be very mindful of what you do. You have to be cautious of what you do, because a lot of times people allowing their private parts to be the leader and the guider of the direction and not their heart. And so when you talk about the lessons that come from here, learn how to hear what somebody is telling you about themselves, because one of the mistakes that a lot of people make is they try to change an individual. They try to make that person become what they want to be. Maya Angelou, the great Maya Angelou, said it like this: when people show you, all right, when people show you who they are, then believe them. All right. And so I think when it comes to certain aspects and certain things, the lesson we can gain from this is learning how to be straightforward. All right. Learning how to not have undercover issues, undercover secrets, and all of that will never amount to anything. There's no reason why Marissa should have been crying and weeping because he told her who he was at 19-year-old. Do you know how many women and men that I've had comfort, have counseled, if you will, advised, who are now upset and bothered because they allow their heart to get attached to somebody who already told you from the jump that they weren't going to be dedicated to you. They told you from the jump they're not going to be committed. They told you from the jump they like jumping, they like open relationships. They just don't want to be dedicated to you. They just don't want to be submitted to your relationship. They don't want to do it. I don't have to agree, which I don't, with NLE Choppa's life. I don't have to agree with his decisions, you know what I'm saying, to just be out there, polygamous, open relationships, and all that. I don't have to agree with that, which I don't. However, when you are in a relationship, you have to come to a point of understanding. Now, if this is what you want to deal with, that's on you. If this is who you want to embrace, that's on you. But if you come and ask me and say, well, what do you think about it? You need to find somebody else. If she or he is telling you, I'm not going to be faithful, I'm going to be double dipping, I'm a double dip, I'm going to go somewhere else and I'm going to double dip. If someone is going to share with you that they're not going to be dedicated to you, they're not going to be faithful to you, they're not going to be committed to you. Now, at this point, this is where this gentleman is. Sometimes you got to meet people where they are, and you have to make the decision. Are you willing to accept, here it is, what's being presented to you? Are you willing to submit to this? This is like somebody who says, I'm not leaving my husband, I'm not leaving my wife. You just a side piece. You just a side chick. I'm not leaving you. Or I'm not leaving my wife. I'm not leaving my husband for you. I'm not going to do it. Now, if you want to deal with this relationship and you still want to be with me, just know I'm not going anywhere. Well, I thought you was going to leave her for me. No, if someone tells you that, but they spending more time with me, but yet they're going home to their spouse, yet they're going home to that other person. And yes, you're spending all this quality time. You know what I'm saying? And you're spending all this time together. But at the end of the day, you got to understand the importance of your relationship. And when somebody tells you what's up, you got to deal with it. So we're in a decade in time where people do, once again, stated, they don't deal with their head. They don't think. They just want to go to this climatic, arousal, orgasmic sensation, and then they forget that they're the greatest. And at the home church, at my home church, New Haven Church of God in Christ, one individual, the president of our CIA, Dennis Clay, said something. Or we had a paperwork that we did with couples, and it said the greatest intercourse is not physical. The greatest intercourse is not sexual. The greatest intercourse is mental and emotional. Because if you understand my mind, if you understand my emotions, then you'll be better able to deal with me. It doesn't matter how you feel from an anatomical perspective. What is greater than that feeling? Here it is. What's greater than that feeling is this right here. It's being able to understand the mind, not to manipulate the mind, not to control the mind, right? Not to take advantage, to abuse, to mistreat, to mishandle. the person emotionally or mentally. And this is the type of thing that's happening. Can we talk? Can we talk? You got to understand something is going on in my life right now. I remember my wife and I, we was talking a while back, and she asked me a question, and she was like, just a random question, was talking about, do you think a person can love more than one person? I said, yeah, I think you can love more than one person, but I don't believe you can be in love. Because here it is, our heart, this organ in our body, was not designed, here it is, to be attached to everybody. This heart was not designed to be torn between this lover, that man, that woman, that boy, that girl. Our heart was not designed for this type of deal. Think about it. When people's heart or their body, their heart has been overly stressed out to a high degree, to a high level, then guess what happens? What happens when your heart has been open to all kind of people? There's heartbreak. There are people, because of stress in their body, you know what happens? These people who have stress in their bodies, catch this, because they have stress in their body, here comes a heart attack. Here comes issues in their bodies because their heart was not made to take all that waste. That heart was not made to embrace, excuse me, to receive all that stress that's on the body. And when you are going through these type of issues and challenges and all these different things, you can't be all over the place. This is why we live in a time where monogamy is a joke. Okay, where monogamy is a joke, being faithful to one. And let me tell you something, just because, here it is, you're faithful, how I want to say this, externally, here it is, does not mean you're faithful internally. I'm going to say that again. Just because you're faithful externally, from what it looks like on the outward appearance, does not necessarily mean you're faithful internally. Because you can show faithfulness on the outside, but be cheating, flirting on the inside. Until what is in you is manifested on the outside, until it's displayed on the outside, catch this, nobody will really know for certain where you're going. What is monogamy? Being dedicated to one. This is why people are going to have issues in dealing with people, because now you start comparing this relationship to that relationship, to this relationship to that relationship. And what happens is we got issues all over the place. If people will be upfront, once again, does not mean I have to agree. I do not agree with polygamous relationships. I do not agree with having all these different sex partners all over the world. I do not agree. Don't even have to be over the world, in the same neighborhood. All right. I will uphold monogamy. I will uphold that you will submit your body to the one, here it is, you're in covenant with. Even Beyonce told you, put a ring on it. Right. And so it is key to your relationship. It is key to your emotional health. It is key to your mental health. It is key. You feel me? It is key that you do these things. And this is why I wanted to talk about him, because I appreciate the fact that she didn't get a secret. She got the knowledge. His behavior was not a surprise. What he turned into, or what he was already there. And watch this. And when he realized, I'm about to take this relationship to somewhere that I know I'm not trying to be in, I'd rather break it off than to keep going. I'd rather stop it right now than keep it going. Respect to him for making that decision. How many times would you as a person have felt better if the person you was with that didn't want to be with you anymore actually told you they don't want to be with you anymore instead of playing the game. I'm one of those, don't play the game with me. If you don't really want to be in a relationship, don't play the game. Don't act like you want to be a part and you don't want to be a part. Don't be a pretender. See what I'm saying? Don't be a pretender. Don't try to save face. Don't try to say, no, if you don't really want to be in this relationship, then you need to be truthful and say, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to be connected to this anymore. I thought this is what I want. And instead of dealing with it, do you know how many people have stayed together because of finances? Meaning, oh, he takes care of me. Oh, she takes care of me. She's the provider financially. Right, Kylan? Exactly. Kylan says over here in YouTube, don't be fake. You know what I'm saying? Keep it 100. Stop playing with people's emotions. This is why I said lessons from NLE Choppa, because we can learn from him. I'm not going to play with your emotions. I'm going to tell you exactly who I am. And if this is what you want to deal with, this is what you're getting. But the problem is, just like some people I know, you think because you got somebody, you're going to change them. Listen, if he was a flirt before you met him, he still might be a flirt after you met him. If she was a flirt before you met her, she probably might still be a flirt. So now you have to make the decision. Do I want to deal with this person that may be flirtatious? Are y'all hearing me? Do I want to remain in this? Let's not even say remain. Do I even want to begin having conversation with somebody that already told me I'm about to screw anybody I want to screw? You can't get mad at him if he tells you he's a bisexual. You can't get mad at her if she told you she's a bisexual. You can't get mad. You can't get mad if you walked into an environment and you already knew what this was about. You can't get upset when you're in friendship with somebody and they told you, I tell secrets. I don't know how to keep secrets to myself. And then they don't keep the secret. And then guess what? Because they don't keep the secret, now you mad. Now you want to fight. Now you want to get with them. But they already told you. Don't tell me nothing. I don't know. I don't know how to keep walking. This is where your challenges and things are going to come, because people are not saying what needs to be said. And he said something that he said, well, maybe later on in life, maybe we can come back together again. He says, when I'm not in that mindset that I am now, maybe we could come together. Now I'm telling you what I did not like. He says, well, maybe, I prayed about it. Let me tell y'all something. And this is probably, where I bring in the other side of me. There is nothing to pray about. Hear me well. There's nothing to pray about when what I'm doing is not in the will of the Father. Ain't nothing for me to pray about. There's nothing for me to pray about. What am I praying for? What am I praying for? What am I praying for? He said in his interview, God didn't want us to remain together. He ain't gonna want you to remain together because what you're doing already is not in the center of his will. So, my thing is, stop putting God, into areas that he never wasn't wanting to come to anyway. And so the challenge we got to face is the lesson we got to learn. Do you really want to be involved? So my wife and I were listening to it when we was going out this past week, and it was like, can you really blame him? No, she's crying, but she shouldn't have to cry. Why? Because he already told her. And then the thing about it is, I'm going to pray on it and God going to change the heart. If God changes the heart, watch this, doesn't mean that the person that heart has been changed is going to be changed towards you. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever considered that? Have you ever paid attention to that? It is crucial. It is crucial to your life. It is crucial to your life. It is crucial. So you got to understand. You cannot put yourself in an environment, in a situation where you already know this person is unfaithful and they got a history of being unfaithful. And then you think because you Miss Faithful B, you're Mr. Faithful B, you actually thinking that you're going to shift this person's life. NLE Choppa said, I like polygamy. If I marry you, you're not going to be my only wife. You're not the only one I'm going to have sex with. He's being as honest as he can be, right? And to a degree, if you submit yourself, I want to encourage women. Then I'm going to talk to the brothers on another level. I want to encourage women. Stop settling for a person who you don't want to be faithful. Well, I'm going to change him. You can't change him. He's already this way. You can't change him. She was a stripper before you met her. She said, I'm a strip before I met you. I'm stripping while I'm with you, and I'm a strip after. So if she told you from the beginning, I'm a strip, I'm going to make that money, and now you with me, you got to make a change. She already told you I'm a stripper. She already told you that. I watched the show, The Shy, right? And when I can't remember the character's name right now, but two characters, he was so unfaithful all the time. To finally, she said, now watch this. She said, finally, she was like, okay, well, since you can't be faithful to me, I ain't gonna be faithful to you. So let's just have an open relationship. He was cool with that. Watch this. He was cool with that. Here it is. All right. He was cool with that. Catch this. He was cool with it as long. Come on to my lesson for NLE Choppa. Watch this. He was cool with it until she started having fun. She was cool with it until everything was ice cream and cake for her. All right. He was cool with it until she started enjoying it. Until he wasn't the only one. And then reality kicked in. I don't want to do this no more. And her mindset was all of a sudden now, because now you're on the other side. You're the recipient and I'm the one giving. Now you want to be the person that changed your mind. Okay, now you want to change your mind. Now, because I want to be open about it and you don't want it anymore. Now, for him in the show, it took that for him to wake up to realize he wanted to be faithful. Right? It took that. You don't need to go through all these extra curricular activities in order for you to come to a place to realize, catch this, that you don't need that. You don't need excess baggage. Are y'all hearing me? And this is where the challenge is. And this is why I said lessons we can learn. Lessons we can learn. I hope he changes NLE Choppa. I hope Bryson LaShawn Potts changes his mentality. I hope he changes the way he thinks. I hope you as a young man, a young woman, an older man, changes the way you're thinking, that you don't settle. That you don't settle for craziness, that you don't settle for being another piece on another man's shoulder. Are y'all catching? Are you hearing me? I hope you don't settle. I hope you really come to the point of realizing that I'm valuable. And if you can't dedicate yourself to me, but see, this is what I'm seeing. Talking to one of my coworkers today. Some of you not ready for a relationship. You're not ready for dedication. You're not ready for it. Because let me tell you something. Love is not manipulative. Love is not abusive. Love is not controlling. Love is not intimidating. Love is not condescending, speaking condescendingly. Love is not making you feel less than and telling you that you can't be nobody unless you're with me. And if you're not with me, you'll never be nobody. You know what I'm saying? That's not love. That's control. And so sometimes you're trying to be someone that you have not even developed to be yourself. Do I believe people can grow in love and grow together? Absolutely. But there are some people who don't know how to do that because they have not taken the time to mature. Everybody ain't gonna be like NLE Choppa, who has the ability to say to themselves, listen, I ain't about to do all this. I'm not about to get caught up. I'm telling you, I'm about to be an open relationship. If this is what you want, this is what I'm getting. But then have sense enough to say, you know what? This is going in the direction I didn't want it to go. And so I'm going to humbly bail out. That's what makes me say, let's deal with that. If you keep drinking water from other fountains more than the fountain that you have, your palate will begin to have a desire for the other fountain because you're always drinking for something else. I want you to think about it. That there are, I'm going to say this for example. There are many Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles out here in California, right? My go-to was La Brea and Pico. That's my go-to. Though I knew there was one in Hollywood on Gower. I knew of the one where the recent rapper was killed at on Manchester and May. Where that one. Knew about the one in Long Beach, right? The one in Pasadena. And then the one that's near the airport. Okay? Now they all got the same restaurant, same name. But for some reason, I like going to La Brea and Pico. But then when they opened the one by the 405 freeway, I started going there. Because, excuse me, my taste buds was more that way. Y'all get what I'm saying? Same restaurant, same name rather, but the location. And so where my taste bud, I want to go there. I didn't like it seemed like there was a different cook in Long Beach, so I didn't want to deal with that, right? Not because of the violence that happened recently over there in Manchester, Maine, but because lack of parking to an extent. I didn't want to go over there. And I ain't got that much parking over there on La Brea and Pico either. But you go to certain places that will offer you a little bit more service. Y'all get what I'm doing? I think it's the same when we talk about relationships. If you keep dipping out of your relationship over and over again, who you should be enjoying connection with, you're not going to enjoy the connection with them. You know why you're not going to enjoy the connection with them? Because you've been tasting other tables. And we cannot treat our relationships like we're going to Costco and sampling everything. Some of us have a mentality of sampling. We have a practice of sampling, and we got to be mindful. So if I was to talk to this NLE Choppa, this Bryson LaShawn Potts, I would say to him, I thank you for being open and saying what you could not be. But young man, the same person who can open up his mind and his mouth and say, I ain't ready for this. Okay, I can respect that. But you are making deposits that are going to expect a withdrawal. And even though you're being open and honest about a situation, you got to be open and honest and truthful about you. Why do I not want to be dedicated to one person? Why do I want many wives? Where is this stemming from? Where is this coming from? Why can't I just deal with one woman? Why, as a woman, can you not just deal with one? Why? 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 Y'all get what I'm saying? All right? Why? So I would say, deal with that. I don't want to hear, well, we as young people, we just don't do that in this day. We venture all over the place. You got to venture all over the place. You ain't got to kiss on every person that you come into relationship with. You really got to process. You really got to think. You got to really go through this and really see, is this really worth it? not just from a erotic, orgasmic perspective, but am I really, really thinking, what am I gaining out of this? Because some people, celibacy is a joke. I see people, and it's a contradiction. Virginity rocks, but you're not rocking virginity. You're rocking sexual activity. You're not rocking celibacy. You're not rocking abstinence. It is a shirt, but you're not living by. Who would ever imagine, as I come to a close, and I'll ask if anybody have any questions, who would ever imagine that you'll see virginity rocks and then see the Playboy symbol everywhere? Who would ever imagine that a porn magazine is now being worn as drip, as somebody's fit? It's their attire. Who would ever imagine? But that's the time that we live in, right? That which was not normal, that which was not, here it is, a fundamental, I'm going to say my word, conservative, right? That which did not denote, indicate, represent purity is now being worn almost like a badge of honor. So I want us to catch this. Okay, I want us to catch this because it's very important. It's very important. It's very important. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Any questions or comments from anybody? Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Any questions you may have based upon anything that I've said tonight? If you have a question, I normally tell people write in a question mark, I have a question, or you can put the question mark in the column and just put a question mark. Any questions you have? All right. All right. I repeat, any questions? If you have any questions, write in the comment section. I have a question, or you can write the question mark, and then I'll say, okay, so and so has a question. I know sometimes this has a delay. All right. Any questions in regards to what I've shared with you on tonight? So what are the lessons we can learn from NLE Choppa? Tell people what's up before you get into the relationship. What is the other what are the other lessons you can learn? You can also learn that if somebody tells you they're not going to be faithful to you, if they're going to tell you they're not going to be faithful to you, then you have to deal with that. Okay? That's where you have to go. So this is the lesson I wanted to articulate tonight on this subject alone. All right. And so thank you for everyone that came tonight to share. All right. So be truthful about the relationship that you're in with somebody. If you're not going to be faithful, let them know. Now, once again, learn, and then when somebody tells you they don't want to be faithful to you, You got to take that into consideration, right? You got to take that. Don't be the person to think you can make somebody up. And then here it is. Don't spend your life crying over somebody who told you they weren't going to be faithful. They weren't going to be dedicated. Okay. You get what I'm saying? All right. It's very important. No surprises if people find out. If people would take the time out to ask questions, it's your relationships got to be more. Relationships have to be more than, oh, he fine, oh, she fine, oh, look at her body, oh, look at her body, look at his abs. You know, it got to be. It has to be more than that. It has to be more than that. This is why. This is why you really got to be mindful. One of the things that NLE Choppa said too, here's another lesson. He said, heal first and then get in a relationship. Heal first. Sometimes we want people to be in our lives what they never wanted to be. Okay? And then let me tell you this. Sometimes I've realized that there are some people who are calling boys men and men boys and calling girls women and women girls. That's going to be another issue. Got to develop. All right. Okay, so you said, so do you think I should move on? I don't know what you're moving on from. It really depends on what you are moving on from. Because just because you physically leave a situation does not necessarily mean necessarily mean star. Does not necessarily mean that you have moved on emotionally and spiritually and mentally. Sometimes it's easy to leave something physically, but still be attached to it. All right. You said from trash. Well, see, here's the difficulty with that. Here's the difficulty with that. Was he always trash? All right. You know, was he always trash? All right. Okay. So if he wasn't always trash, that's funny you said we don't say names out here, but you just said Mr. D. All right. So the thing you have to also take into consideration is what's the conversation you had? You said he was nice and then he became trash. So how did he become trash? And so that is something for you to look at. Sometimes people have become trash because they don't do what we want them to do or what we ask them to do. And then sometimes we see the trash and we work around the trash. Okay. Well, you know, it's amazing that, you know, when people say stuff like what you just said, well, he was a dog. Well, there was something about you that was attracted to the dog. There's something about you that liked the dog. And so that's something that you have to really examine. Or they become trash because you can't do what they want you to do. And it really depends on what you mean by what you want to do, because sometimes you all as young people, you all expect too much too young. And when you expect something too much too young from somebody who is not mature enough to give that, you got to let boys be boys. Because you got to let boys be boys, and you got to let girls be girls. Because if you make a boy a man too early, when he becomes a man, he'll want to be a boy. If you make a girl be a woman too early, when she gets older, she'll be acting girlish when she should be acting womanish. I hope that makes sense. All right, let me come over here to YouTube. So Cotton says, so what do it mean if you ask a question and the person get mad off the question, if that makes sense? Is that what NLE said? No, that's not what he said. That's what I said. So what do it mean if you ask when the person get mad off the question? Well, really, see, Kylan, it really depends on what you asked. It depends on what you asked. It depends on if the person was mature enough to be able to hear the question, break down the question, and then respond to the question. So I think that really depends on the maturity level. So without knowing what was asked or what was discussed, all right. So if they ask a question and they get mad, then I would say, well, why did that upset you? Why did you get mad based upon that question? Well, why would you ask me that? Can you explain to me what was wrong with me asking that question? Or why did that upset you? Why did you feel some type of way when I asked that question? You see what I'm saying? When you ask that question and redirect it to that person, it puts them at a place where now they should be able, without hesitation, to respond to you, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. So let me know about that, Kylan. All right, if that makes sense. And remember, people, the reason why I tell you to put a question mark in the comment section before you ask your question is because that lets me know that you're getting ready to ask me something. Then let me address you. Because I've had people say, man, I was asking you a question and you left. Okay. All right. Okay. So you said you understand. Okay. Got you. All right. Yeah. Just ask questions. You won't know. Sometimes, people have, sometimes because of behaviors and stuff that we've done, things that we said, we sometimes, people will begin to question you based upon some activities that you have said or done, and now they're trying to filter out what's going on, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. So let me close it out again and say the lessons we can learn from NLE Choppa is, number one, tell people how tell people what you expect out of a relationship. Tell them what you don't want to expect out of a relationship. Two, tell them who you're going to be in the relationship and who you're not going to be in the relationship. Okay. Number three, if they tell you they're not going to be faithful, don't try to make them faithful. Number four, if you submit to the climate of their infidelity, their openness, don't be mad when they say to you, I don't want to be faithful to you because I already told you who I'm going to be. Number five, why settle for less when you can have better? Number six, don't try to catch a falling knife. Okay. Number 7, if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, heal first, then proceed. Okay. Okay. Let me see. You said Keyshawn told me when I ask questions, I can be too direct. Well, I would need Keyshawn to explain to me asking questions being too direct. I think questions should be directed towards a person directly. You feel me? I believe you should direct the question directly. I would need to know what Keyshawn means by too direct. Like, for example, if I said to Keyshawn, if he was watching me right now, I haven't heard from you. You said you was going to reach out to me. Why haven't you? Via text, Marco Polo, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Why haven't you done that? That's very direct, right? So if I ask a direct question like that, then I should be able to get an answer. Too direct. Do you like me or do you not? Do you want to be with me or do you not? Do you love me or do you not? You see what I'm saying? So it depends on, because if I want to understand, in order to have better understanding, questions. I'm a person that asks questions. Sometimes it gets on people's nerves. And sometimes the reason why I get on their nerves because I ask questions, not necessarily because you didn't answer it correctly, but sometimes I'm asking because I'm trying to make sure I understand. And if I don't understand what you're saying, then I get frustrated. And if I get frustrated, then I'm going to stop asking. And then you're going to ask me what's wrong with you, but I'm trying to gain understanding, and you blew me off. If that makes sense. What's going on, Lady Fluker? All right. Any other questions before I go? Once again, put question mark or I have a question in the comments. So you can put the symbol of the question mark or I have a question. All right. So these are the lessons I've gained from this experience. You know, she did a Proverbs 6. Marissa did she did a Proverbs 6. Can one take fire to his bosom and not be burned? If you play with fire, eventually you're going to get burned. If you play with a poisonous snake, you're subject to get bit. So, yeah, so Kylie, you can ask Keyshawn my direct question and see what he says. All right. All right, so no questions. I hope I said something to provoke us to thought. If the Lord says the same, okay, he said I come off aggressive. Okay, so then this is what I need him to do. I need him to explain to me what he means by that. So, you know, he ain't got no phone, so he got to use your Marco Polo. Because kind of when you're talking to me, right? You're not using someone else's phone to have communication with me unless something is wrong with your phone. So if Keyshawn really wants to have dialogue with me, then he will set up his own Marco Polo and address me, not walking down the street in a Marco Polo video with you. How about that? Was that direct enough, Keyshawn? Was that aggressive enough, Keyshawn? My brother, well, I got to hit him up too. My brother, Gashan, often said, don't come for me unless I send for you. I ain't the rapper, Keyshawn, but you don't want D-Smoke. All right, I'm done. Thank you so much. I've stepped into my hour. All right, thank you. Thank you for everyone who has joined. I hope I said something to make us think on the topic of lessons from NLE Choppa. All right, y'all have a good night. And then Keyshawn, if you want to have words with me, I just tell you what to do. Deuces, y'all. Y'all have a good night.